are you accomplishing the task that you have been given? Or, because you said something that it is the one who called you, that determines whether you're succeeding or failing.
Exactly.
So let's say he called you with a purpose. When God called Saul, who converted to Paul, he had a clear purpose. He had a very clear purpose. So, would you say Paul was successful?
Well, it's evident everybody wants to be like Paul.
Exactly.
In fact, you hear some people who say, when we get to heaven, I want to sit where Paul,
Yeah.
want to sit in the camp of Paul.
He was very successful in his call. And you said in the secular world, as well as in your assignment in the house of God, because on this show, it's inspiration. We're looking at how you are able to marry. We are my pastor preached a message, living in two worlds. We are here, but we are here as aliens. We are here as pilgrims.
Yeah.
And we are also from the kingdom of heaven. And in the office where you work, it might be an organization that maybe you're working in the banking industry, or like you are working in the engineering industry. You meet with people, you get contracts, you are on site, and all of these things. How do you balance your Christian faith? Because you are a Christian, and then you are working in a so-called secular environment, where those you meet on a daily basis, those you interact with, maybe your bosses, your subordinates, do not have the same beliefs that you have. They think differently. You said something about thinking differently. You said something about being different. As a Christian, you're different. You stand out. So how are you able to strike the balance? Because this is real world, like this is the world where we live in.
Very true. Now, as a Christian, you need to stand your ground, to know who you are. When you know who you are, I can tell you, our life is something worth emulating, and the life that we live can be superimposed on the life that those in the secular world lives. And that is what will make them know. They will see the difference in you. I'll give you a very simple example. While I was working in the financial industry, I recall, at the point in time, I was the one.
You had worked in like the banking.
Yeah, the banking industry. Yes.
Sector, yeah. The banking industry.
I was the one in charge of the project development, where we constructed well over 200 branches at that time, and I was also in charge of the facility management in the bank. It was a big bank, international bank. We had branches outside the country, and I was also the one in charge of those branches. I recall at a point in time, there was a contractor that came to me at that point in time, and he had finished his project. So he's been trying to get his money out of the system, but because of some issues, the money wasn't coming out. So I helped him, being the head of the department. So after the project, the man came to me, elderly man. He said, "Oh, Dapo, thank you so much for what you've done. I'm really grateful. I've been trying to get this thing out of the system for quite some time, and it's not been possible." I said, "Okay, so please just take this as a token." And I recall the Spirit of God said to me, "Don't take it." Guess what? I needed money at that point in time. But I heard clearly, he said, "Don't take it." I told him, I said, "No problem." He said, "Oh, thank you so much, sir. It's okay. I know it's okay. Thank you so much." The man said, "Dapo, I'm old enough to be your uncle. I finished my project. Take this money." I said, "No, thank you, sir. I know you've lost so much money on the projects. It's okay. Thank you so much."
If I may just cut in there.
Yeah.
My question will be, so if you had taken it, was it wrong to take it?
I'm going somewhere.
Okay.
No,
because our viewers
you'll be able to answer the question.
In that kind of situation, would it have been wrong to collect that gift of appreciation to this, wonderful fellow that has helped me tremendously. So our viewers would like to know.
I see, you will answer the question when I finish the story.
Okay.
You answer the question. I'm not going to tell you yes or no now.
Okay.
When I left the banking industry, about 2 years after I left, the man called me. At that time, I already started my own business, but things weren't really going too well. The man called me one morning. I was praying, actually. He called me. So I didn't pick the call. By the time I finished praying, I picked up. I called him back. He said, "Oh, Dako, how are you doing? I just wanted to know how you're doing and things like that." I said, "I'm fine." He said, "So where is your office?" I said, "Well, right now I'm working from home and things like that." "Okay, so what do you do?" "I'm into consulting and blah, 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 blah." So I dropped the phone. 5 minutes later, the man called me. He said, "Dako, someone came up with this project yesterday and he said he needed a structural engineer to work on the project. Tell the person you are from me."
Wow. Wow.
So I want to ask you, if I had collected that money at that time, there was nothing wrong in collecting it.
Now, there would have been something wrong because you heard God specifically.
Exactly.
God
because
told
the
you
Spirit of God said,
specifically.
"Don't take
And
the money."
and I think that God told you that because of
What was going to happen in future?
exactly. You see, because at this point, the man had gotten to know you as a man of integrity. This is what we're talking about on this show. As a Christian, you have integrity. There's a message that really shaped my life by, of course, my pastor. The message is the integrity of the word. When I refer to my pastor, I'm referring to my man of God, Reverend Chris Oyakilome, DSC, DD. The integrity of the word. How that if you would hold on to the word, it will work for you. Just the word of God is sure to produce results. And in the same way, as Christians, integrity, is when you stand by your words. You do not compromise. You are holding on to what you stand for.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yeah.
So in your field, you are a civil engineer and you do construction works. Has there been any time where you had to compromise? Even if it was maybe a partner that was trying to tell you, of course, in building, you have to mix a certain quantity of cement with sand, with gravel, and all of those things. Was there any time where you were tempted to, or you were advised to?
The truth is this: when you're on several projects, you meet different challenges. There were times that such occasions arose. Okay, but you see, your background as a Christian, your background of the word, you see, is what is going to help you to overcome such challenges. Question: when you look at, your my man of God also, listening to him, you know that success is not based on your prosperity. Is not based on what you do. Your prosperity is really from the inside. And when you recognize the fact that prosperity actually comes from the inside of you, there are certain things you will not do. Excellence.
And those that work with you also
yes,
would know. So they wouldn't even lure you. They wouldn't even discuss. They wouldn't have such discussions with you.
I went for, there was a time I went for a meeting in one of the government agencies in Abuja back then, and while they were supposed to give us an housing estate, very large one, and by the time we were not even they hadn't given us the contract at that time, and the people were asking us for 500 million. The question is this: as a Christian, are you going to? Of course, we know that if you give that money, definitely you will not finish the project, and they don't mind. But your name is on it. You as a Christian, what will they say? See, the fact that you're a Christian, they know that you're a Christian. They say, "Oh, are you going to bring reproach to the name of Christ?" These are some of the things that drive me. That makes it, my decision making is based on am I going to bring reproach to the name of Christ? They know that I'm a Christian. Am I an example of Christian living? So those are some of the things that will not allow you to compromise, even when people are pushing you to do such things. You stand your ground.
Yeah, the example you just gave now is as you were just sharing, I looked back at my own life at different times where you have the opportunity to really do certain things, but you'd ask yourself, am I a Christian? Is this right? And you'd have to just at that point decide. There might be things that, like you said, if you gave that money,